Okie dokie. So hopefully the streams are live now. We will take a look and make sure that all of the tech difficulties are looking good. We had a couple earlier tonight, but I'm hoping for the best at this point in time. It looks like things might be cooking. So let's take a look. It looks like Twitch and YouTube are up and running. Let's double check the chat. We will check chat. Looks good. And tonight we've got something special for you guys. Not just Kahboomzie nightly news, but specifically through Asmongold's channel. And we will be reacting and speaking and talking about some of these things. And let's make sure that both channels truly are we've got running. Something. Yes, that one looks good. And make sure that this one is good as well. And make sure that good as well. And make sure that okie dokie. So let's take a look. The first video, I've skipped a little bit of like these introductions. Normally, I don't rewatch any of these videos or anything like that, and I haven't this time around. But I did notice that he was doing a whole bunch of introductions that were kind of didn't matter. It kind of felt like glazing, stuff like that. So I didn't mind skipping that a little bit. And this is a very recent video, came out tonight, not too long ago. And we'll see kind of what Asmongold's perspective is, what his chat's perspective is. I mean, it is kind of interesting that Asmongold has become like a news source himself. In some respects, where people are tuning in literally just to watch the news. And whether you agree with him or not is relevant. We're just information gathering at this point, and we're taking a look at kind of what his perspective is, what his chat's perspective is, how he might disagree with them, and so on and so forth, as we seek to find the truth in the matter of all this crazy stuff that's going on in this world. So here we are in Wailing Caverns. I am on my 0 talent shaman. We have 0 talents. These poor guys have no idea. But it is a huge challenge, right? Going 0 talents in WoW hardcore. Shaman, they are OP. And hardcore is just not hard enough, apparently, right? So we have to give ourselves some extra challenges to spice things up and see if how well we can do. At one point, I would like to spend all of the talent points. We have, I guess they're going to sheep the druid, okay. We have our, oh, how many talents is it? 12 unspent talent points at this point in time, and it would be kind of cool if we could just dump all of the points into one of the trees and witness this huge either power boost or just have fun with some sort of meme build where we do something that's totally not meta. Anyway, so without further ado, I'm going to be hitting play on this video, and hopefully you guys enjoy it.
Steve Marshall, Alan
Giuliani
Wilson,
got short on his stick?
James
Yeah, he did.
Uthermeyer,
Remember when he did that?
Chris Carr, Dave Sunday,
Remember when he did that
Marty
rally for Trump at
Jackley,
a
as
gas
well as
station?
White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. What a man Stephen is. Become a big star.
You remember
Right,
that?
Emil? Steve Miller.
Okay, so his little introductions are almost done, and I'm sure he's going to be talking about a lot of things today regarding the Department of Justice. I'm kind of curious to see what's going on involving the Department of Justice and what he has to say about this, and then also maybe what other people have to say as well. So let's take a look.
Steve has been something very
That
special.
was so funny.
For generations, the Federal Department of Justice was one of America's most revered institutions. The men and women of the DOJ brought down the mafia, hunted down the killers, kingpins, and spies, tracked down terrorists and traitors, and tore down corrupt political machines all across America. This department commanded the respect and admiration of the entire world. And with Pam and Cash and all of the people I introduced and far more, big numbers, and all of you sitting back there, I recognize so many of you.
That was such a good day.
But with you leading the way, it'll soon be the most admired and most respected of all. You're going to be more respected, and I really believe that there's There's also a lot of things to solve, a lot of problems to solve.
It's interesting because I feel like, I mean, I'm not an expert in politics or anything like that, but I feel like weren't people criticizing Trump, and wasn't Trump criticizing Department of Justice? I must have missed something along the lines of of this topic. Interesting. I'd like to hear what else this contains.
But that's going to put you in the upper tier and maybe the top tier, and I believe that's going to happen. I'm so proud of the people in this room. But first, we must be honest about the lies and abuses that have occurred within these walls.
Uh-oh.
Unfortunately, in recent years, a corrupt group of hacks and radicals within the ranks of
Nope.
the American government obliterated the trust and goodwill built up over generations. They weaponized the vast powers
I think
of
this
our
is true.
intelligence
I think
and
they
law
did make Trump a
enforcement
martyr by going
agencies
after
to
him
try
that
and
hard.
thwart the will of the American people.
Right, like that's fair, right? I feel like a lot of people saw kind of what happened, and they were like, "Yeah, he deserves it." But then there was a lot of other people that maybe just were uninformed on the situation or the trials or whatever they might have been, and I mean, I am, and they just saw kind of what was happening, and they thought this doesn't feel right, because in a way, it really did seem like one side was attacking the other, and there's been made a lot of claims since then about how this is the case. Um, but yeah, I feel like a lot of people did see the situation and maybe not really agree with what was happening.
You remember the 51 intelligence agents that said, as an example, that Hunter Biden's laptop from hell came from Russia when they knew it came right from his bedroom. They knew that. It was a big lie, and they knew it so well. They spied on my campaign, launched one hoax and disinformation operation after another, broke the law on a colossal scale, persecuted my family, staff, and
His
supporters,
family.
raided my home, Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, that drew my attention as well. What happened to his family? I don't think anything happened to his family. Like maybe people just are mean to them in public now, um, because of what happened to Trump. Maybe that's what he's referring to.
Well,
And did everything within their power to prevent me from becoming the president of the United States.
it's crazy if this guy didn't
With the
become
help of
president, he'd probably be in
radicals
jail.
Like
Isn't
Mark
that nuts?
Elias, Mark Pomerantz, and these are people that nobody's ever seen anything like it. So many others, but these are people
Yeah.
that are bad people.
It's like you either become president
Really
or you go to
bad
jail.
people. They tried to turn America into a corrupt, communist, and third world country. But in the end, the thugs failed and the truth won. Freedom won, justice won, democracy won, and above all, the American people won. There could be no more heinous betrayal of American values than to use the law to terrorize the innocent and reward the wicked. And that's what they were doing at a level that's never been seen before.
Now he's reading the
And it's
speech.
exactly what you saw.
Yeah, he goes off the teleprompter quite a bit. He was definitely doing that earlier.
With Joe Biden,
Now he's not
Merrick
reading the
Garland,
speech.
and their cronies
Okay.
to do the building of the last 4 years. They ripped what they've ripped down is
Now, yeah, this is.
incalculable. But what you're going to build up is likewise something that will be breaking all sorts of records. They set loose violent criminals while targeting patriotic parents.
I can't handle how he just recaps everything he's said a million times. I wish he would just focus on whatever new information it is that he's trying to portray or share.
No.
At school board meetings, they dropped charges against Antifa and Hamas supporters while labeling
He going out.
traditional Catholics as domestic terrorists. The Catholics.
Oh,
We did very well with the Catholic vote, so I want to thank them for that. They really did.
whatever happened with Pope
Record
Francis? I heard
numbers.
he was going to die. Is he good now?
I would say, what's with the Catholics? They're really after the Catholics, so I don't know. They were after a lot of people.
He's good now? Good.
Maybe they didn't even know why. They imported illegal alien murderers, drug dealers, and child predators from all over the world to come into our country
You don't
while
have to read
putting
that off the
elderly
teleprompter.
Christians and pro-life activists on trial for singing hymns and for saying prayers. They went to jail for that. Our predecessors turned this Department of Justice into the Department of Injustice. But I stand before you today to declare that those days are over, and they are never going to come back. They're never coming back.
Now we're on script. All right.
So now, as the chief law enforcement officer in our country, I will insist upon and demand full and complete accountability for the wrongs and abuses that have occurred. The American people have given us a mandate like few people
Off
thought
script.
possible.
Off the
We won
script.
every single swing
Yep.
state. We won the popular vote by millions and millions of people. We won districts, 2,750. Think of that, 2,750 districts compared to 505. So we won it at levels that have, I don't believe, ever seen before. That's the one where you see the map of the United States and it's all red. Red for Republican, not for communist. Red for Republican. They would like it to turn red for communists, but it didn't work out that way. The American people have given us a mandate and really a far-reaching investigation is what they are demanding into the corruption of our system. And that's exactly, I'm sure, what Pam and Cash and everyone else mentioned here and not mentioned is going to be doing.
It's so hard to focus while being in a dungeon. I've never done this before. But yeah, it's crazy. Like I was thinking about this, and like it's just interesting to me because I mean, again, I'm just like your average Walmart American. I don't really understand everything about politics or anything like that, and it's a little concerning that like every 4 years, let's say a president does swap over every 4 years, how concerning it is that like maybe your entire government is like turned upside down if a new president comes into power, and especially if it flips the script on the party, because like Trump has been able to get so many different people like sorry, somebody whispered me and I got a little bit distracted. But yeah. Some of the I can't remember what I was saying. Gosh dang it. Get distracted by the whispers. Anyway. I guess we can hit play. Oh yeah, he was talking about some different people that he has hired, right? And it's just crazy to me that the president is able to completely swap out like the Department of Justice and like all these other people get hired and everything gets like flipped upside down. It just doesn't seem like healthy for the government to have this change every 4 years. 4 years is actually not that like long of a time. 8 is better, right? Like okay, maybe things should change after 8 years or whatever, but like it is good if it changes after 4 years if everything is terrible, right? But if things are good, it's kind of gonna suck if the American people just wanted like a different president, but they didn't realize that everything else could change. And that some of those other changes might be bad. Like the far-reaching arm that we are seeing here is kind of something that I didn't realize was a part of the presidency or expect, because I've heard a lot of stuff, right, about like how, oh, the president's just a figurehead and all this kind of stuff. But this presidency so far has shown that it's, well, actually, the role is a little more than that. He is a little more than just like a figurehead, for example, because of the amount of stuff that Trump has been able to get done. Now, I understand it's also because the House and the Senate are completely like uh, right leaning at this point in time, and maybe that's why. But yeah, it's crazy.
We will
Sure.
expel the rogue actors and corrupt forces from our government. We will
Back on script.
expose and very much
1 sec though. I gotta grab Okay, and we're back. I had to fix something. I felt like my mic was a little quiet or something like that, so had to fix something. Hopefully this is better. Here we go.
Exposed
Back
their
on. All right.
egregious crimes and severe misconduct of which was levels
Off.
you've never seen
Okay, now we're
anything
back
like
off.
it. It's going to be legendary. It's going to also be legendary for the people that are able to seek it out and bring justice.
I've watched
we
these
will
multiple
restore
times.
the scales
It's
of
so
justice
obvious,
in
right?
America, and we will ensure that such abuses never happen again in our country. And that's why on day one, I signed an executive order banning all government
Legendary.
censorship and directing the removal of every bureaucrat who conspired to attack free speech and many other things and values in America. My administration stripped the security clearances of the disgraced intelligence agents who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. We revoked the clearances of deranged Jack Smith,
Oh,
Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, and the crooked law firms that aided their partisan persecution.
so he wrote that
And I
down.
went through it. These are
That's good.
state and city courts, and the corruption is
Off.
unbelievable.
Off again.
We also terminated the
back on.
clearances of the Biden crime family and Joe Biden himself. He didn't deserve it. In fact, he was essentially found
Off.
guilty, but they said he was incompetent, and therefore, let's not find him guilty,
Now,
I
back
guess.
off.
Nobody knows what that ruling was, but I didn't want any part of it. I think I would have rather been found guilty than what they found with him. They said he didn't know what the hell he was doing, and therefore, he's
Wow.
let him go. I said, you know, I'd rather be convicted, Pam. I think that was not good. I said, please convict me. Don't say that. I pardoned hundreds of political prisoners
God.
who had been grossly mistreated. We removed the senior FBI
at this on
officials who
Steam.
misdirected resources to send SWAT teams after grandmothers and J6 hostages. And it was a great honor for me to fire, I will tell you this,
Sorry.
a great honor to fire James Comey. A
Great honor?
That was nothing. There was no better day. A lot of people said, oh, that's too bad you did that. And they said that's going to be, and you know what? A year later, they said that actually saved the administration. Because the
Wow.
level of corrupt things that we learned after that turned out to be that they were doing, in fact, really bad things. He was a terrible person, did terrible things, and persecuted people. And all in the guise of being an angel, but he wasn't an angel. We created a brand new DOJ task force and anti-Christian bias. And under Director Patel, we're getting the FBI agents out of the headquarters in Washington, D.C., and back on the streets in pursuit of dangerous criminals where they belong and where they want to be. And, you know, you have that big FBI building, and it's a very big building, and they were going to build an FBI headquarters
Huge
3
building.
hours away in Maryland.
This is
a liberal state, but that has no bearing on what I'm about to say.
By the way, we're
but
off.
We're gonna
Yeah,
stop
we're
it.
off right now.
Not going to let that happen. We're going to build another big FBI building right where it is, which would have been the right place because the FBI and the DOJ have to be near each other. You can't
Yeah.
That's one thing I did learn from this
Are you sure?
persecution. The FBI and the DOJ work together. Now, in my case, they work together for bad purposes, but they do. They were always together. So how can you have one that's 3 hours away? But one thing I said to Cash, well, we're going to get a great building built. It's going to be a magnificent building. He said, sir, we don't need that kind of room. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm just going to take a old Department of Commerce building that's about 25% the size, and that's what I need. We're going to have the best staff that you've ever seen, and that's what I need. It's in a nice location, but I don't need that big building. Why don't you just sell the site to somebody? And we're going to be very happy. And they want to have far fewer people, but we also want to have them in D.C. And if for no other reason, we like having law enforcement walking the streets of our capital.
Yeah.
Because when the bad guys are out there and they see there's an FBI agent,
That's true.
the ultimate in law enforcement.
Yeah.
And
Those
they're
are
not
the
gonna be
elites.
acting so bad. We're cleaning up our city. We're cleaning up this great capital. And we're not going to have crime, and we're not going to stand for crime. And we're going to take the graffiti down,
Yeah.
and we're
Yellow
already
bar
taking
bosses,
the tents
yeah.
down, and we're working with the administration. And if the administration can't do the job, we're going to have to take it back and run it through the federal government. But we hope the administration is going to be able. So far, they've been doing very well. The mayor's been doing a good job. We said there are tents galore right opposite the State Department. They have to come down, and they took them down right away. And so far, so good. But we want to have a capital that can be the talk of the world. When Prime Minister Modi of India, when the President of France, and all of these people, the head of Prime Minister of United Kingdom, they all came to see me over the last week and a half.
This is off script, by the way.
And when they come in, I had the route run.
Off script.
I didn't want to have them see tents. I didn't want to have them see graffiti. I didn't want to have them see broken barriers and potholes in the roads, and we had it looking beautiful. And we're going to do that for the city, and we're going to have a crime-free capital. When people come here, they're not going to be mugged or shot or raped. They're going to have a crime-free.
Bro, that's such a good point, that like the capital is this terrible location, this terrible place. It really just is. And it is kind of crazy. Like, imagine coming to a country like America, and it's like one of the most dangerous areas, like some of the places in New York and stuff like that, even. And all these places that are major, amazing, like cities, like that the world like knows about. Um, it's just insane that they are these crime-ridden places, and the government really should be able to get a handle on this. Other governments can. They do. What's going on in America, man?
Capital again. It's going to be cleaner and better and safer than it ever was, and it's not going to take us too long. There's a new phenomena that is taking place with these violent, vicious lawyers that we have all over. They play the ref. You know what playing the ref is? Like the great Bobby Knight basketball coach. He'd scream and scream at the ref.
Off
He'd
script,
scream.
by the way.
By the way, I love Bobby Knight because he endorsed me, and having Bobby Knight's endorsement in Indiana was an extremely good thing. A friend of mine said I was running in Indiana at the time. This was early on, 2016, and I was doing great. But a friend came up and said, "Do you know Bobby Knight?" I said, "No, I don't, but I hear he was a tough cookie." He said, "He's not only tough, he was beyond tough, but he's the most popular guy you can imagine." It turned out he wanted to endorse me. He called me about 2 years before. He said, "Sir, I'd like to endorse you." I said, "Is this really Bobby Knight?" He said, "It's me." I could tell it was Bobby Knight. He had been known for throwing the chair across the court and slapping a player. Can't do things like that, right? And the man that came in fired him. He was a new administrator for the college. That guy didn't last very long. They were like 14-0, and they fired Coach Knight. That was not good, but he had a little chip in his shoulder. But he loved Trump, and he came in and he said, "I'd love to endorse you." He said, "If you ever run, please call me." So he said, "You know Bobby Knight?" I said, "Well, I don't know, but he called me."
Dude, he is just talking. He's just yapping about nothing. There's an hour more of this. I really don't know if I want to watch the rest of this. There are other videos that we could be watching. Nothing really is happening, but basically, like, he's just saying we're gonna make an amazing government. That's good. I mean, maybe we'll come back to this later. Honestly, I really feel like I want to come back to this later. Maybe we'll hit minute 20, and if it doesn't like get better by then we'll just like call it. But right now he is just, as Asman is saying, like off script, off script, off script, and it's just he's just ranting, and it's just not as focused as it needs to be. I mean, some interesting stuff, some good stuff might be shared, but it's not the best right now. We'll get a couple more minutes up to minute 20. See what happens.
A couple of years ago, it was an amazing phenomenon. I took his number, and on each side of my desk in New York, I had stacks of paper, like nice and neat, but about 2 feet high each. And I said, "You know, I wrote his number down and I put it here 2 years ago." And I said, "Let me see if I can find it." It was almost like a miracle. I had other miracles that happened too. My ear is still throbbing. That was a miracle. That was a miracle also, wasn't it? That was a miracle also.
I mean, people joke about the whole saved by God thing. I don't know. I don't think it's. I don't know what to say about that.
Thank you. Thank you, Leo. Thank you. Thank you, my man.
What'd I miss?
That was a miracle.
What'd I miss?
Okay, that's it. That's very nice, thank you. But, so he said, Bobby Knight. So I said,
Assassination
I
attempt?
put
Oh,
his
another one?
name down and I wrote it down. It's in one of these stacks. I lifted up. There would have to be 3,000 pages in each stack. I lifted it up, the first one, had no idea. And there was his name on a little card, Bobby Knight with his number. It was like incredible. I tell that story all the time. And I called him and dialed a number. He said, I've been waiting for you to call. And he went out and he made a speech for me in a packed arena in Indiana, and it was over. It was over. He was a tough guy. He
This is
actually
crazy.
went a little far, you know. If you remember, he made a great speech because he was actually a motivational type guy, to put it mildly. But he left the stage, and then I'm talking, and he walks back onto the stage. I said, "Uh-oh, this is trouble. Why is he coming back?" He was a big guy too. Why is he coming back? He said, "May I say a
What
few
does
more
this
words?"
have
I
to
said,
do?
"Yeah, go ahead, Bobby. Say a few more words." A little different.
Oh,
And he
God.
said, "And let me tell you something about this guy."
Exactly. Asman just said, "What does this have to do with like anything?" And sure enough, that's what we were saying a couple minutes ago. So it probably is a good time to stop this one. I just had a feeling that this one wasn't really going to be very good. Kind of hesitated on even opening it, to be honest. But some of these other things are going to be great.
If he's
Like this guy. Okay. Let's see what's going on here.
if he's so great, if
Bro, Colonel Sanders is out of control. Oh, my God. Look at his face.
these plans and all the fraud and abuse that he's
Look at
found,
this face, bro. Like, holy shit.
I mean, I really would like it if they would actually come out with um, some more concrete information about the fraud and abuse that they found. I mean, they keep saying what they found, but like, where are the receipts? Can we see them? Maybe they've shown them to us. I know that some things have been posted, but the astronomical amount of things that they are claiming, I really would like to see more evidence. I mean, just why not, you know?
Shit.
if he's so great, if these plans and all the fraud and abuse that he's found are so evident, why isn't he here explaining it? You know why. Because he's out to privatize.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Elon Musk has way more money than he needs. There is definitely nothing that he needs or could gain by stealing stuff from the government. Like initial, like not really. I mean, I guess more money, but like we've talked about this on the last stream actually, and I really don't feel like fleshing out this point. If you're curious, go watch the last stream. I do cover it pretty thoroughly, even quoting things that Musk has said from before he was even uh, owning Twitch or considering Doge or anything like that. Kind of, yeah. It's basically. I'm not going to get too much into it right now though, because there's not really. I don't want to rehash everything from like literally just yesterday. Go watch the nightly news stream from yesterday. The number four it was.
Social Security. He's been on
What?
television the last couple of days talking exactly about Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
No, he hasn't actually. I mean, unless I didn't see it, no, he hasn't. We've been covering like everything, even stuff that Musk was talking about. Yes, within the last couple of days. So what is this guy talking about?
And what he intends to do, privatize it.
I didn't hear that.
Wait, what? I want to hear what this guy says.
I didn't hear that. Privatize it. I didn't hear that. Sorry. Anyway,
Well, he's right. Yeah, I didn't hear that. That's funny. It's just what I was saying. Okay, interesting. Okay. Yeah, he didn't say that. You know, why is he so angry about this? It really makes you wonder, like, why would anyone be this angry about, like, okay, we're going to try to find fraud and abuse? And you have to ask yourself, are they actually that angry because they're afraid? Because they're afraid that they're going to get caught? Maybe this guy maybe this Colonel Sanders guy, right? Maybe this guy yelling, maybe this guy actually has done some nefarious things and he's like kicking and screaming because he doesn't want to be caught. Is that really what's going on? I mean, we've talked about like the higher rate of like um what is it called? The higher rate of like people searching for specific search terms in like New York through Google, and it was and they've and people have been searching up things like how to get protected by lawyers if you've committed fraud, you know, and stuff like that. Like weird little like Google searches that are basically kind of like that have been have been made, and very recently, right, like right after Doge started doing its thing and Trump became president and stuff like that. So with that piece of evidence, with that piece of information, and also with like you know the this guy like kicking and screaming because he might, it sounds like it's stuff that he maybe has been involved in might be uncovered, right? Uh, it just sounds like he's afraid, you know. Oops, that was the wrong totem.
The gentleman on the screen, right-hand
I mean, hopefully that makes sense. I mean, like I kind of butchered that because I'm a little distracted over here. But if you got questions, I'll go over it again. Let's take a look in the stream, see if there's any chat. No, nobody right now. Okay.
Fuck, bro. Colonel Sanders is crashing out. Who is this guy? Oh my god.
privatize it? I didn't hear that. Sorry. Anyway, the gentleman on the screen, right-hand side, is the co-chair of the Doge caucus. His name is Aaron Bean, and he's joining me now. Congressman, are there any plans for Musk to give a full report to Congress on the wasteful spending he's uncovered?
First of all, Stuart Varney, it's great to be with you. I only hope the Academy was watching Representative Larson's performance,
Give him an
because if
Oscar.
they were, I think Representative Larson might be nominated for an Academy Award for his dramatic role of just overstating
That's true. I was going to say that he wouldn't be able to get it because of now the diversity requirements, but I forgot he wasn't white. He's red. Yeah, he's red and orange.
savings and the efficiencies that Elon
I mean, okay, that's pretty great. I didn't expect that. Didn't expect that joke. A random DEI joke about this guy being red. Okay.
Musk has continued to find and what Doge is doing. It's just a shame. It's almost like this. It's almost like this. Somebody breaks into your house. Elon Musk reviews the videotape, tells you who did it, and you scream, "Oh, you shouldn't have access to the videotape." And that's what the
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's just kind of what I was saying. Like it really seems fishy. Like you're mad that people are finding out this information.
Because
Democrats
they're the ones that broke into the house.
are just
Right, yeah, that's the joke. He caught on to it. Yeah, he's angry that you're looking at the videotape in the in the anecdote, right? Uh, he's mad that you're looking at the videotape, but in the same situation, it's he's mad that you're catching him on the waste, fraud, and abuse. That's really what it seems like, right?
Doubling
insurance
and
fraud.
tripling down on. But as you know, Stuart, because I've watched you, you know we have a government we can't afford, and we have to wean ourselves off of this addictive government spending, and that's what we're doing right now.
If you went to the website doge.gov, there's a complete listing of all the spending that they have found. You can read it.
It's not enough. It's incomplete. They gotta have more. They gotta have more information. And if Elon wants,
Okay, so there is a bunch of information. Okay, but like, it's crazy that the world is saying, well, all the information is a lie. And it doesn't seem really like that just is it like convenience that for them to like claim that it's a lie? Is that literally just convenience?
to, like, I mean, they can hit me up, probably anybody else, right? And you got to make videos and explain this shit to people with like each individual thing, and then like break it down, like with like fucking infographics and shit, because like people don't get it. That's the problem.
Line by line, thousands of lines. If the Democrats wanted to find out what wasteful spending he's uncovered, just go to the website. It's that simple.
That simple, Stuart Barney. It's just it's
The website's
it's
not enough
it's a
information.
new
It's
level
good,
of
but that's
Trump
not-
derangement syndrome. It's now Musk derangement syndrome, and anything that Trump or Musk is for, the Democrats seem to be against.
One last one for you. You say that you found $135 billion in unemployment insurance fraud. You just simplify it for us, will you? Who got the money, and can you get it back?
It's a great question, Stuart Varney. It's 135 billion minimum, could be more, of insurance
Where'd it go?
fraud, unemployment insurance fraud during the pandemic.
Where'd it go?
And I'll tell you who did it: fraudsters, con men, outright thieves who stole American taxpayer money. They didn't make a mistake on
Where'd
a
it go?
form. They purposely misused the system to steal from us. And so yesterday we launched, or this week, a bill to get the money back. This bill extends the statute of limitations.
It's not enough.
No, yeah, these people need to be like arrested basically. Like you can't just have people do this like waste, fraud, and abuse and get like a hand like slapped on the wrist. Oh, we caught you. Pay money back. Pay the money back. When they're not really going to be able to actually get money back from people and stuff like that. It's just kind of weird.
It's not enough. You can't get the money back. You got to put them in jail. Because the thing.
Yep, jail. We don't have enough room in our jail, right? So it's just it is what it is. What are we going to do?
Thing is, people keep doing it. Everybody makes decisions on what they're gonna do based off of what.
It's like you shouldn't just pay the money back. You should also get fined, right, or something like that. And you can't pay it back, so then you go to jail. Like that's what the situation should be. Like you forget. I don't think these people are going to be able to pay any of this back, right? Going to sell like their 5 houses, right, that they've invested in. But then they might have made money off of that because they jacked with the what do you call it? They've jacked with the market so much that housing is so high up. So sure, they sell their 5 houses that they invested in by stealing from the government. Let's just say that this is the situation. Well, they should not make money off of this waste, fraud, and abuse that has happened because then the government wasn't able to invest that money because the government does invest money. They do invest our taxes, and they invest it into the American people in a whole bunch of other ways, and stuff like that. So what should happen is these people shouldn't just pay it back once they're caught. They have to also pay fines. Pay fines on like the money that we would have lost, basically, in the investments the government could have done through the tax. And the thing is, like, a lot of this money is probably like sent overseas and stuff like that. So are you really going to get it back? Or are these people just going to, as Asmund puts it, roach out? Are they just going to take off, right? This is such a bad situation.
What the risk level is. And the reality is that these people's risk level.
Yeah, so they're not going to actually pay it back. At this point in time, it's probably just like, oh, yeah, we're asking him to pay it back. Hopefully some people do, but like, and if some people do, cool, at least you tried. But that's probably not going to be the actual solution.
Is just too low. And they're going to keep doing it because they're going to get the money taken away, but that's it.
To go after the fraudsters. The Biden administration, for whatever reason, didn't make it a priority to get our money back. But Trump and our great Secretary of Justice, Pam Bondi, will make it a priority to get our money back. So, Stuart, please help me to deliver a message from the American people to these fraudsters who stole our money. We want our money back. And this bill, which is still amazing.
I don't even care about the money. I care about putting them in jail. Yeah, put them in jail. Like, you're probably not going to get the money back. It's probably spent the money.
Exactly, right? They spent it, but maybe you can get like the real estate money back. That's one situation. Who knows? That's probably not even possible to get the money back, right? He's right. Like my one situation in which they could conceive of getting money back is definitely not the case for everybody. One of the things that spiked in the New York searches when Trump became president and Doge started like claiming that they were going to be uncovering fraud and everything. One of the things that popped up in the searches in like New York City, for example, it's just one city, but the Google searches that popped up were saying things like how to wire money transfer to a Swiss bank account, like a huge wave of searches, right? Gee, I wonder why. Huge search. So yeah, it really seems like people are trying to get away with whatever it is that they've been doing. Like the writing's on the wall.
You can't get the money back. Like, put them in jail.
Stuart Varney, that you would think everybody would vote for it. Yes, except 127 Democrats did not.
Aaron Bean, a pleasure having you on the show today. Come back.
And it's crazy that the Democrats are like this open about like opposing waste, fraud, and abuse spending, and then it makes it look like to the American people that they don't actually care about this stuff, right? I feel like some people must see it that way. To me, I see it as like, oh, they're just going to oppose everything that the conservatives do, no matter what, because if they ever agree with anything that the conservatives do, they are then basically admitting that the conservatives have done something right. And the conservatives can do no right because we are the ones that are right. Choose us as your party, right? That's the point. So they're never going to actually they're never going to like sorry, somebody just whispered me and I got a little distracted again. Yeah.
I can see us again soon. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Yes, sir.
Not everyone is a con man, Asmongold. Some people just want to make an honest living and not be bothered. I think that if you are a con man, though, this is where you're going to go.
Yeah, I don't remember what I was saying, but yeah, cool. That's that video. Rogan? Okay. Rogan and Musk?
Oh, so if I were to say, like, what's at the heart of the sort of, like, why is the Democrat propaganda machine so fired up to destroy me? That's the main reason. The main reason is that entitlements fraud. That includes like Social Security, disability, Medicaid. Entitlements fraud for illegal aliens is what is serving as a gigantic magnetic force to pull people in from all around the world and keep them here. Like basically, if you pay people at a standard of living that is above 90% of Earth, then you have a very powerful incentive for 90% of Earth to come here and to stay here. But if you end the illegal alien fraud, then you turn off that magnet, and they leave, and they stop coming, and the ones that are here, many of them will simply leave.
Obviously. Yeah, we're giving them a bunch of money and we're giving them jobs under the table. Fucking duh. Find me the, look at the behavior, find the incentive, change the behavior. Wow, what a surprise. I can't believe it. It's like, here's an example. Like in WoW, everybody does ICC to get invincible. There's if they took invincible out of that raid, everybody stopped doing the raid. Because they do it because it drops the mount. They take the mount out, people stop doing it. It's common. It's fucking common sense.
And if that happens,
everything referenced to WoW,
they will lose a massive number of Democratic voters.
And if it didn't happen, they would turn those people into voters.
Correct.
Which they were trying to do.
They're already turning them. So in New York State, illegal aliens can already vote in state and city elections.
I don't know about that.
Well, it's because they don't have to have an ID to vote. You just have to know a name of somebody who votes in that area. For example, California, my wife tried showing her ID, and they kind of angrily told her, no, you don't have to do that, because they don't want this to be the norm. Because they want people who aren't citizens to be able to vote. I don't know maybe that's not the real reason why, but why else would the reason be?
A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
I mean, they're trying to fight that, and they're trying to stop that, but they're currently, I think it's like 600,000 are registered to vote, illegal aliens in New York.
Sounds like bullshit. We're gonna look it up. Okay, so it seems like that's not really going on. Yeah, I didn't think so. I mean, that's crazy. Right? I mean, I don't think so. They could vote in New York because you aren't allowed to show your ID. Like, you have to show something, though, right? I mean, you can't just say, like, I'm here. Like, so how does it work? So, like, let me get this straight. So, in New York, you just go up to a ballot box and you just vote. There's, like, no checks for this shit at all?
Well, no, the check is they ask you who you are, and as long as you give them the name and the address of where you're supposed to be, you can vote. Or it's something like that. Like, that's how it is in California. Because if they don't ask for your ID and they don't, like, need to prove, there's no proof of who you are and stuff like that, then, it's the way it is, right? I don't know.
You need to register. Okay, so you have to be registered to vote then.
Yeah, that's true. My wife did have to, like, register because for some reason 3 times in a row her registration didn't go through. They kept saying, oh, make sure you register, and she would try to register at the ballot box, but her registration has not gone through for like the last 3 voting cycles. Or holy crap, no, we've lived here for like 8 years, like 8 voting cycles. It just never goes through. She registers every time, and every time we go to vote, she's not registered, and I say, okay, register here. So something nefarious has to be going on. Like, imagine registering to vote like 8 times or something like that. And then I think this is actually year 9. So yeah, it's been 9 years now. Yeah, imagine saying that you're going to register somebody and then you don't register them. And every year you say, okay, register. Okay, we're going to let you vote. But then the registration doesn't go through. And the registration process is just information gathering. That's it. And they don't question it or anything. But then they let you vote and they count your vote. So this is how illegal aliens who aren't supposed to be able to register to vote can vote. That's it. And you really just need to know like a name of somebody who was registered to vote in that area. Like I think that's all you need. Or if you know an address, like if you know an address in the area and you say, no, I live here now, and you give them your name and stuff like that, they'll register you, but then it won't actually go through, right? Because it has never done that for my wife. Mine only went through because I like registered, I think, for the DMV or something like that. But at the voting booth, they make you register there and then and there. But it, as I said a million times, like it never stuck, and it's never stuck for her. Why isn't it sticking? Is it because they don't actually want to catch people not who are not supposed to be there, and they just want votes to go through? Is that really what the agenda is? Probably. It's very crooked. Like I live in California and I've experienced this. This is literally what's happening.
No, you don't? What? You have to be registered to vote in New York. Yes. You have to be a U.S. citizen. Registration is mandatory. But how do they check? So, wait a minute. How do they... I don't...
See, he's onto it. He's figured it out. How do they check? That's exactly what they don't check. They do not. They just have you fill out papers, and then they don't actually submit the papers, but they count your vote. That's exactly what happens. That's what happens.
I don't understand this. How do they check? Period. How do they verify? You missed a paragraph in the first response? I don't see this. The last paragraph? There's no evidence. Imprisonment only affect illegal non-citizens. Is it firm? No. Well, they register a fake name, a driver's license, your name on the list. Last paragraph of the second answer. So yes, registration is mandatory. No registration, no vote. Simple as that. Verification, New York doesn't require voter ID at the polls for most registered voters. Just your signature was just checked against your registration record.
Yeah, the problem is there's the way it should work, but then it doesn't work that way. I've experienced this. He's talking about New York over here. I'm talking about California, but I'm pretty sure if there's going to be anything goofy going on, it's the same in both places.
So then they do have voter ID. But it's just not asked for while you're there. It's just indirect. You can fake a signature. But in order to fake a signature, you'd have to be committing identity theft. And if you're committing identity theft, then you could just vote no matter what. That's a felony. Well, what I'm saying is like, so that's no different than like here, for example. You can fake IDs too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? So like you can fake a signature, you can fake an ID. I feel like you can make this shit up no matter what. Read the first bullet point. New York State Constitution specifies that every citizen is entitled to vote. This has been interpreted to exclude non-citizens, including undocumented immigrants, from voting. Federal law also prevents non-citizens from voting in federal election in New York. No. we're not seeing this. I don't know. Like, all right, I'm not sure about this.
That is wild.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at, say, FEMA, like the agency that was paying for illegal aliens to stay at luxury hotels in New York was FEMA. That's an agency that's meant to support Americans in distress from natural disasters, was paying for luxury hotels for illegals in New York.
It's true. Yeah.
That's a fact.
Fact.
They're literally, like, when we stopped that payment,
This did happen?
we stopped all those monies, because that's obviously an insane way to spend taxpayer money.
That's, yeah, I agree with that.
The New York sued the federal government to get the money. So you could just look at their lawsuit. They were sending that money even after President Trump signed an executive order saying it needs to stop. They still press send on $80 million to luxury hotels in New York. Your tax.
So they did the thing, even though the president said not to do the thing. I mean, like, can't you charge them for that or something? Like, I mean, like.
Yes. Why aren't they? That's what we want. We want people that are wasting our money to get in trouble. How come it's so demoralizing that people don't get in trouble, yet if I don't do my taxes right, I get screwed and the government comes after me and stuff like that, right? Or the IRS.
There's got to be something you got to do about this. Here's the thing, right? Is like, you got these people roaching out again. They weren't even luxury hotels. It was worse. They were regular hotels charging the city luxury prices. It said it didn't. Here's what actually happened. Reimbursed FEMA through its shelter and services program, reimbursed New York City for costs related to housing migrants. They received about $80 million. The hotels weren't luxury either. Found that the city paid an average of $156 a night. That's luxury. What the fuck? That's cheap for New York? Yeah, I'd say that's cheap. FEMA did pay to house migrants, but not in luxury hotels and not with disaster relief money. I still want my money back? Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I do too. Like, I don't want to spend any money on this shit either, but still. Why aren't they paying $150 a night for me? That's a fact. That's a fact. You're paying $150 a night for some random fucking migrant and not a citizen. That's a fucking fact. Absolutely. Now you're asking the important question.
I mean, I really wish he wouldn't curse this much. It really does bother me.
Money went to pay for illegal aliens in luxury hotels in New York from an agency that is meant to help Americans in distress from natural disasters.
Right, and I would like to know how much. And I would like to know how much they spent on North Carolina and how much they spent on Maui.
Yes, exactly. What's actually happening is they're buying voters. That's really what's happening. It's like a giant voter fraud scam.
See, like, I think he's right. It's just that it's not right. He's not right in this specific way. Like, I think that, like, the effect is the same.
They're importing voters. And
well, yeah, so the effect that's probably actually most directly being banked on is not like this whole, like, in 2 cities that are already liberal, let's get illegal aliens to vote. Or not cities even, but like states. Yeah, that's not the situation. The real situation is they want to make it so that all illegal aliens or undocumented citizens or whatever you want to call them, uh, the real goal is to make it so that they can vote in the future. But first, let's get enough of them here. And once enough of them are here, and it's so common, we just say, yes, make them vote. And then, out of thankfulness, they are hoping that the people that came over here illegally will thankfully just vote. They'll be so thankful that they will just vote for the Liberal Party to help establish that Liberal Party in the future. So, yeah, basically, they're trying to make sure that the Liberal Party will get the vote of the illegal or undocumented person, however you want to call them. So it's the long game. That's what it is.
And it's really just a matter of time. So, like, if a lot of people have
So what
trouble.
I'm saying is like, so what I mean by that is that they're importing voters two ways, right? Number one is that they import them, and then the people have kids here, and then the kids vote, right? Because they're citizens.
Okay, yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, that I didn't think about that. It's the long game for like births. Interesting.
And then the kids have a degree of, like on average, probably a degree of generosity towards the people that allowed their family to stay here. It's a long-term perspective. So like, and also, isn't the amount of congressional seats that you get based off of your overall population as well? I think that there's that as well.
Oh, for real? Okay, so if they count the population of the illegal immigrants, then the congressional seat of liberal areas would be much larger. Crazy. Okay, see? We're learning things. I mean, like that sounds right, you know? That sounds about right. I'll buy that. Crazy.
Yes, and so like you do have this happening. I just think that he's not using a good argument for it. That's all.
Trouble believing this.
So
but
that's what I meant to say.
The more you look at it, the more you will realize just how much of a problem this is, and how it's not just real. It is. It is an attempt to destroy democracy in America. That's what, in my view, it is what it really is. Like, if you take the sort of 7 swing states, like often the margin of victory there is like maybe 20,000 votes.
It's not that many.
If you put 200,000 illegals in there, and they have.
By the way, this is the reason why you don't want Canada to join America, is because there's a bunch of fucking liberals up there. They're gonna vote for this bullshit every time. Yeah, I'm just being honest.
Like a 80% likelihood of voting Dem. And it's only a matter of time before they become citizens. Then those swing states will not be swing states in the future. And if they are not swing states, we'll be a permanent one-party state country.
Uh-oh.
Permanent deep blue socialist state. That's what America will become.
And that was the game plan.
That was the game plan. That is still the game plan.
And so
they almost succeeded. If the machine of which the Kamala puppet was the representation.
Right. So I think he's going to say something about like if Kamala won, then this would he's going to say something about how this would have been the end of America. Here we go. He's going to say it.
Had won, that's what would have happened. The reason I went so hardcore for Trump was because, to me, this was a fork in the road, a very obvious fork in the road. If they had another 4 years, they would legalize enough illegals in the swing states to make the swing states not swing states. They would be blue states.
I mean, like, if I was them, that's what I would try to do. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, like, because if I was trying to win the election, that's what I would do.
Then they would win the presidential. They'd win the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They would then make district, D.C. into a state. Maybe Puerto Rico, get 4 extra senators, pack the Supreme Court. So then you'll have the House, Judiciary, Senate, and presidency, all blue. And then they will keep importing more illegals.
Yeah, because then nobody can stop them.
That outcome.
Exactly.
Basically what happened in California.
I bet he's going to say wow. I bet Joe's going to say wow.
Jesus Christ.
It would.
Okay, all right. I got it wrong.
Would have been the end. That's why I went so hardcore for Trump. It was otherwise been the end, and that's why the Democrat machine is so intent on destroying me.
It's just so fascinating that people can't see this.
I mean, I invite people to do their research. The more they do their research, the more they will see that what I'm saying is.
I mean, but I don't know.
It's absolutely true.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like the whole thing about them living in that, I feel like that's not really. I mean, unless maybe this is wrong. I mean, you could say it's wrong for sure, but like, it's just really it's hard to know. Everybody always lying, man. Yeah, you searching up 2 Grok prompts is research. I mean, like, what do you want me to do? You want me to read a Wikipedia? Do you want me to read a page of this on CNN? You think CNN's gonna give it a better shake? You think MSNBC, you think a news story about this that's like owned by another fucking billionaire is they're gonna be the ones that are gonna tell you what the reality is. Yeah, no, definitely. For sure, guys. For sure. And yeah, sources right there, click them. Yeah, and you also have the sources, like, you just look at it right here. Yeah, and so like Daily Mail, fire chief putting illegal migrants, 5-star hotel, reveals so like this is a person, she's seeking compensation. Musk misleads on FEMA migrant-related payments, factcheck.org, Snopes, and also, like, I mean, Politico, fucking Snopes, like, Daily Mail. Like, am I really going to listen to these people and say, oh, yeah, this is true? No, not really, but, yeah, my goal is just to know what happened. That's really, am I crazy? I feel like there's so much of a desire to just know what the fuck happened. Because now you can never know what the fuck happens with anything. Because everybody making up a bunch of bullshit about everything. Yeah, nice.
I mean, that's the whole point. That's why I'm doing this. That's why. I'm just trying to know what the hell is going on. I'm piecing together what I can understand, and I mean, honestly, I might be wrong today, I might be wrong tomorrow, and at some point, I'm right about something, or I figure something out, but then the next day I might change my mind or hear some new information, and then I change kind of my perspective on something. We're so bent out of shape in this nation, in this world, where they assume, like, oh, you have to know the truth, and you have to agree with me because what I think is the truth, and I can never be wrong because I'm prideful, so you better agree with me, and if you don't, F you. Like, that's this world. That's how people think. And instead, we should just be thinking, like, okay, well, what is true? And how do we find what's true? And stuff like that.
Nice sources, yeah. And so, like, that's really the point that I'm getting at, right? It's insane. And I just don't understand it at all. And it's very frustrating for me to see this happen. It is.
Okay, we watched a few things. We saw this part of it. It got really boring. Maybe I'll take a quick glance at the peaceful protest things that are probably not getting more peaceful.
Is this the best survival game?
What?
Oh no. No, they're not popping off. Oh no. No, they're not popping off again. Members of the Revolutionary Communist Group and the other far-left extremists are gathered outside Columbia University. Okay, here we go.
Look, they're singing songs and they're playing. Aw, cute. They're playing. They're having a little song. What the heck is going on? I feel really stupid for saying this and mocking this situation, but like, imagine having enough time to do this. Like, I'm playing WoW on my lull downtime, trying to squeeze in a stream here and there as much as I can while I take care of the rest of my world and my life. This? My goodness.
Let me just move in. Nobody's really breaking a law here, right? It's just a protest. It's not really, I don't think it's really a big deal. Yeah.
Man, they sound really into it. Like they actually care about what they're saying. They sound ecstatic. They're so glad to be there. It's obvious. They're on top of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with them, but like there's no destruction of property. They're, you know, complying with the police. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem with people that want to protest this and get mad about it, but you know, just don't destroy property and break out windows. Like I think that a lot of people don't really realize how bad it was last year. Like these people, like these were people that were. This is a ISIS arrest. These are people. This is a protester. That this is a vandalizer terrorist, right? I mean, what's going on with this? Look at this. Yeah. Worse than the BLM looting? I don't know. I think they're both bad. Like I don't really have an opinion about like which one's worse. Like, I don't think there's really a point of discussing which one's worse. I think they're both bad. So, yeah. Why is it always university kids that are stupid with these protests? They support terrorism and then the next generation are doomed? No, because they usually get older and realize that they were stupid and then start voting in a more reasonable way. I think that it's mainly young people that are very privileged that want to have a cause to fight for because they think about people that grew up, you know, in like previous ages, like, you know, you have like the civil rights era and these people were protesting for that. And then you had, you know, obviously like, you know, what was it? Like any sort of like slavery stuff or any sort of racism. And I think there's one other thing that happened with that as well. So I think that's really what happens the majority of the time, right? Ultra left-wing teachers, they LARP as activists. Yeah, they're LARPing as activists. Most of these people didn't really care. And they think they're going to get away with it.
Right, you can totally tell that they are very into what they're saying, you know, as they very monotone repeat in a monotone like voice, you know, they're repeating exactly what they're being told to repeat. They're just playing the game. They're just playing a game, you know, they're just having some fun. They're just being a part of the community. They're just out there doing what they think makes them important and special, and they think that they can grow up one day and tell everyone, I was a part of a protest, right? Like that's what's really going on. I feel mean the way I'm putting it, but like they didn't really sound like they cared about what it is that they were protesting for.
But either way, yeah, so they're basically revoking a bunch of people. Columbia has reportedly just expelled the president of the grad student union for his arrests and the encampment and building takeover last spring. Columbia University has announced expulsions, multi-year suspensions, and degree revocations over the violent takeover of Hamilton Hall last spring. This is what happens when the federal government finally holds the universities accountable. Now, I think this is a huge W. I have no problem with peaceful protests, but you don't peacefully protest with a hammer. You don't. That's not how it works. And so if you bring a hammer to the peaceful protest, you have just disqualified yourself from peaceful protesting. Were the police, by the way? Well, they were trying to get into the building, right? And so, yeah, it's that simple. And what did Trump do? A pardon as terrorist? Two-faced? Yeah, I guess so, right? People always like bringing up January 6th as if this wasn't bad. So anyway, it looks like university statement. So this is what Columbia said themselves. Today, Columbia University Judicial Board. This is probably the other reason why they're protesting. The Columbia University Judicial Board determined that findings and issued sanctions to students ranging from multi-year suspensions, temporary degree revocations, and expulsions related to the occupation of Hamilton Hall last spring. With respect to other events taking place last spring, the UJB's determinations recognized previously imposed disciplinary action. The return of suspended students will be overseen by Columbia University Life Office. Columbia is committed to enforcing university rules and policies and maintaining our disciplinary procedures, probably, right? This should come as a surprise to literally no one. Really, this should be a surprise to no one. This place was violently taken over by activists that were, again, these people, they're protesting with hammers and breaking out windows. I'm sorry, but like, I have no problem with them getting around. This is, I think this is from like last year or something, right? There's something else. But I have no problem with any of these people like sitting around and protesting and doing it lawfully, right? Sitting outside, talking about it, gathering there. But this right here, this is just destruction of property. Yeah, these are hammers of peace. I don't think so, man. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're hammers of peace, guys. Man. I don't think so at all.
From hard hats to steel-toed boots, Granger's got your safety needs covered, literally.
Yeah, broken windows of empathy. I guess so. Self-deportation. So yeah, they destroyed tons of property. They were inside of the buildings. They weren't complying with police officers. And ultimately, you know, Columbia University is not their own personal playground. It's not their place to tell people that we're going to break into this building and not allow you to come into it, just as a very, very baseline, simple perspective. And you think about probably collectively the millions of dollars this costs the university to repair all of this stuff, to clean up all the damage, to to process police reports and talk to the police, the energy that takes and time that takes. You have all of that, and then you also have like painting over the graffiti. There's millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then also you have some people that don't want to go to Columbia now. The university is now dangerous, right? You have dangerous people that have taken it over. I think that's a big thing. Also losing donations from big Jewish donators. Well, yeah, I mean, like, and I think it's really not that surprising. I mean, if you're a Jewish person, and the problem is that a lot of these people, and they've done literally no favors to themselves with this topic at all. These people have done no...
I mean, if a university is going to become a place where this type of action is okay, like as a parent who is oftentimes signing the checks, mine didn't, but I know this is the case for a lot of families where parents just pay for the tuition. They're not going to want to send their kid there. The university does lose a lot of money. That's a really good point. But I feel like one of the biggest things to take away from this is that protesting, like, I really appreciate the way like Cesar Chavez did it or Martin Luther King or something, right? These peaceful protests that you made sure that you got the documentation and you followed the law and you walked where you were allowed to walk and you didn't block traffic and you weren't and you didn't just stand around in one place like I saw them doing. You moved, you walked, you marched, and you did it in a way that was approved. Even though they weren't being violent, when they were just standing around, like imagine trying to walk on those streets, and how are you going to get around now? Walk in the actual street? Like it's not okay. There's definitely a better way to to be and to do these things. I'd prefer it if people actually got these things approved. It's really easy to get stuff approved for like a city or whatever, and then you can go march, right? That's the best way to do it. People will see what you have to say. You'll be walking from one place to the other. You'll cover more ground, and maybe if you have something valuable to share to society, they will see what you have to say, and they will agree with you, right? Now I'm not quite sure. I guess that's it. That's it.
Diligence, and they have taken no effort whatsoever to distinguish themselves from anti-Semitic terrorists. So, big surprise that, you know, Jewish people might not necessarily want to support a group or a university that is actively allowing people to advocate for what they believe to be their eradication. Big surprise. If I was them, I wouldn't give them any fucking money either. Like, I put myself in their shoes. Yeah. WTech, yeah. Why the fuck would you give these people a bunch of money if they're letting these clowns take over the university, and some of these clowns are supporting an organization that wants to destroy you and wants to kill you and says, like, oh, all Jews are bad, a curse upon the Jews. If I see that and I'm a fucking Jew, I'm going to be offended. I'm going to be like, you know what? I don't want a curse on me. I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting here. What the fuck? Based, yeah, it's common sense. How do we get here? It's nuts. It is. It's so.
It's funny how when you say W take to Asman, he gets like extra excited. it's kind of funny.
Fucking obvious. So yes, I'm really, really glad to see this happening. This is a massive W. Yeah.
I blame Columbia for tolerating this.
Yeah.
The administration and the faculty at Columbia, they're a bunch of virtuecrats and moral snobs. They believe in diversity, equity, inclusion, and the right to harass the Jewish people. And the American people have given Columbia hundreds of millions of dollars. We've just waited.
They did the same thing with Jewish people that people did with Asians in COVID. You remember all those videos of these like dumb racist people harassing Asians? It's like, just because you're a Jew doesn't mean you're a Zionist. I mean, it doesn't mean like you're an Israel fucking operative. It's crazy. Like, and it's Chinese people too. They're like, oh, it's from China. Like, I remember there were people that were conspiracy theorying about when that Chinese girl Kaisi came, and she was in Austin. I was hanging out with her, and they thought that she was like a CCP agent or something like that. They were like, well, yeah, so is it true that the CCP is sending in pretty young Chinese girls in order to compromise our American streamers and American influencers? And like, they had like all these examples of it, of like guys dating Asian girls, basically. Half of the Asian girls, by the way, weren't even Chinese, but it doesn't matter. Like, yeah. And I was thinking to myself, please let this be true. Please, please, please. I love China. Yes, okay, guys. Yeah, it's what they want you to think. That's what I want to believe. It's not what I want to think. Yeah. Yeah, I hope so, right? Please compromise me. And so anyway, this happened, and it's just another, in my opinion, it's another flavor of that. It's another flavor of, xenophobic generalizing on people that aren't even, like, a lot of these people, like, these are people like, oh yeah, I'm Chinese. Yeah, I went there 2 times for like a week to visit my family. Okay, yeah, but the rest of the time you're in America? Yeah, you're mainly American. Let's be honest. And so anyway, but like, yeah, it's totally fucking different. Yep, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Wasted it. We've been better off taking that money and spending it on scratch tickets and blackjack.
Yeah.
And this insanity has got to stop. And I'm proud of the president, and I'm proud of Secretary Rubio for saying we've had enough.
Yeah, bro, these people are wilding out, man. They really are, and they're violent. That's the problem, is that they're violent. And that's really what the issue is. And over half of Columbia University's enrollment is now foreign students.
Over over half of Columbia's enrollment is foreign students, and they're the ones, of course, who pay full tuition. Yeah. And so of the general studies student population. And that raises two questions. One, why is the American taxpayer, the Free Press reported that, $400 million in federal grants have been yanked. Why are American taxpayers paying to educate people who aren't Americans? And two, it raises this question about immigration and which way the cultural exchange is going.
So the other day, 2 days ago, I do believe, right? This is Wednesday. So I think on Monday, Harvard froze hiring.
Damn.
What do you make of that? How do you read that?
It's interesting because a lot of these federal grants go to the hard sciences. So the professors who are supporting the protesters, supporting, BDS resolutions, saying, screw it to the administration, they're not the ones who are going to get pinched by the fact that Trump is pulling grant funding. So you're going to see a civil war within the universities of the serious researchers saying, hey, we just want to do our research. We don't want to get, in this, fight with the administration over this, versus the ones who say, no, this is the hill we're going to die on.
Okay.
Well, they're going to die on it then. I'll tell you that. I mean, this kind of crazy fucking political shit, especially like supporting terrorist shit.
Yeah, I'm done watching this video. We get the main idea. People are like, and we saw this yesterday.
President Trump will be making an historic visit today to the Department of Justice for a speech laying out his vision for restoring law and order and ending the weaponization of the Department of Justice.
Right. So we saw some of this event. Anything worth talking about?
That ripped our
country apart.
Do
that, it goes away immediately.
Maria, when we say we're ending the weaponization, we're ending it. People will be held accountable who weaponized our government. There were a lot of pardons out there, but there were a lot of...
There are a lot of pardons out there. Yeah, all presidents do that. Just kind of the way that the Biden one happened was kind of strange, to be honest.
People who were not pardoned. And if you targeted someone, if you went after someone because of their political affiliation, we will be investigating you. We will be looking at you, because that's the weaponization, and it has to stop. For instance, look what they're continuing to do, as I said, to Elon Musk. Look what they're continuing to do. Tesla dealerships, the stations where you charge a Tesla, they're vandalizing cars. I have already directed an investigation be opened to see how is this being funded, who is behind this, doing this. We have people we're locking up on that.
Find out who's funding it. And if there's people that are funding it, hold them accountable. Then it'll stop. Again, what you have to do, the problem is that all of the people that show up to burn down the Teslas, these are just retards, right? These are retards that in a lot of cases, maybe they got paid, but the odds are they got whipped up into a frenzy by Reddit and they think that they're fighting against Hitler. That's the symptom. The disease are the people that are making it happen to begin with. That's it. There has been the poor officials didn't commit those crimes. They just allowed them to stay in our country for long enough for illegals to commit them. So, yeah, exactly, guys. No, you can't possibly hold the government official accountable for the negative outcomes of their policy. No, you can't. That's outrageous. No, you can't. I think you can. And I think if you do, this stops immediately.
We have someone in jail right now.
By the way, I think about corporate, like the entire idea of like the corporate veil and corporations not being held, and people that run corporations not being held personally responsible because it's a corporation. I view this the same way. Start prosecuting. Like, let's say, something happens and there's a safety risk that gets ignored because they just want to save money. Launch an investigation into that company, find out who made that decision, and then put them in jail. Done.
Yep. I mean, people need to start getting in trouble for being like terrible people. It's just insane that this is not like the norm. Anyway, here's his channel. We'll put it in chat. Give it a watch, give it a like, give it a follow. People give him a lot of flack, but he's pretty level-headed, to be honest, in a lot of things. Don't agree with him about everything or anything like that. He just is a good source sometimes picking, some neat things to watch and to comment on. We still need to finish watching.
This is the aircraft carrier shelter you seized previously owned.
Listen, guys, I'm a wing guy. I love my ladies to have those big, voluptuous.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay. We were at 20 minutes, basically. Hopefully he stops rambling at this point. But he has been just rambling up until this point. We are going to alter the OBS system, though. We do not need the news live for just a little bit because we are going to be doing some guild stuff. All right, so the thing about making a guild tabard is the icons are often distorted on the female characters. Now, what colors would we need to pick? Oh, okay, it randomizes every time I open it. Maybe we'll get a better starting point as we wait for people to hop in. If people wanted to come in, they totally can. All right, maybe I can even zoom in on this. Let's see if I can do game capture, unlock. There we go. Oh my goodness. It costs 10 gold to make a tabard? I didn't know that. I wonder if I even have enough gold. Okay, let's see. I've got some more gold on some of these other tunes. Oh no, I don't because he died. Maybe 2 gold from that guy and 2 gold from that, and then I've got none left on him on this character. Sure, why not? People have been asking for the tabard though, so I don't mind getting a tabard. It's just gonna be a little pricey. I kind of feel like it would be hard to Okay, let's see. It'd be hard to buy spells once I empty all my gold. So what would be a good plan for gaining gold as after I spend all of it? Let's see. Okay. $10 gold's a lot. I don't know. It's a little stressful. Okay, well, yeah, that would help a lot. One guy says he'd donate a gold. That helps a lot because then I at least would have some money to buy spells because I just dinged and I don't think I'm gonna have enough money to buy any abilities on this character. So 1st asked for this tabard, I was like, yeah, no problem. Let's just design it together. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, this might be a problem. Okay, well, let's take a look at the design. Let's take a look at the design and see if we can pick something that we like. How's this? No, I'm just kidding. So let's see. What are the colors? It's border color, background color. Gee, I don't know what color to pick. Well, I'm waiting for that gold he sent me to arrive in the mail for this, and it's still possible to, like, design the tabard today and stuff like that. I probably should take this shield off so we can see the back. Who knows what icon is best, though? The guild is called the Redeemed. I don't think there's anything here that really screams the guild name. Maybe a chicken leg? A dead tree. A mountain. A sword. And a shield. Looks fine on the back, kinda, but then a dagger. So, oh, I forgot. Green is goated. Okay. Let's find green. I'm colorblind. Is that green? Just kidding. I didn't see green. I thought I went through all of these already. Okay, here we go. Yellow, dirty, yellowy gold. I don't know if he means bright green or dark green. I mean, green's good. Gold is good. Honestly, the orange is kind of nice too. Not that's too browny orange. That's a bright orange. Mm. Bright green, dark green. Oh, another type of dark green. There's that one. There's that one, and this is like pastel-y. Okay, that's not bad. What border do we have? There's so many options. I can barely pick a character, and there are way less options on picking a character. So this could take some time. Unless you know, unless people help. I haven't really had any people hopping in here to help. And give their feedback. Let me double check. Do I have... Maybe my OBS is not updating the chat properly. Help. I haven't really had any people hopping in here to help. Okay. So let's see. There's that. Well, it's live, but I don't really see any people in the chat. My bitrate became unstable in Twitch. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, let's make this tabard. Okay, to be honest, like I kind of like the idea of picking an icon that is more rare, that people normally wouldn't have. Like, I've never seen anyone with this goofy, like, snake, but it doesn't stand out very well. So whatever it is that we pick has to be able to stand out. I'll make some executive decisions. I think maybe darker would then make the icon stand out more, because a darker background and a lighter icon actually stands out way easier, right? Gold stands out pretty well, so it's not just basic white. And green and gold isn't that bad. What would the border be? Border color. Do we want a furry border, where it's like looks like there's hair on it? Or a line, or bones? Okay, that one's more gold. So that one's better if it's a line, which looks kind of strange, to be honest, on a horde character. The lines aren't as sleek, so maybe a furry border would be better. But we don't want it to look weird. This is the color we had before, I believe, and it looked okay. Yeah. It looks bad if it's not the fur, but the fur highlight color change makes it a little better. Fur and green looks kind of strange, though. Let's do a background change to where we have a darker background. Let's see what some of these options look like. This is kind of like green, like the guy was talking about. It's like more teal, though. It's got some bluish tint to it, actually. And the icon's trash. So how do we make the icon stand out? You see how it's warped on a female character? It's distorted, the shield. So you really get limited because like half the people have female characters, right? And you don't want it distorted in some weird way, like how these horns just look like big circles. 2 eyeballs. No. A big X. Even the X is distorted, you see? The mountain is not distorted. But do we want a mountain peak? Maybe. The dead tree looks cool, but it's a little warped. This one's fine, it's not warped. The soup is funny. It just is. Soup? Okay. A crying bear. A ribcage. A scarecrow. Cards. Lobster. Cat. This goofy monkey. Look at these cat ears, they're all warped. An eyeball, a bat. Someone the other day said that they wanted that they wanted the stars, but it's kind of silly that it's like a smiley face. Like, why is it a smiley face? What is this supposed to be? A maple leaf? I mean, that's basic and it's fine. Maybe we should just pick the most basic thing there is. Like the lightning or something. You can't really go wrong with the lightning, to be honest. An eagle claw? I guess the lightning's not too basic. I've just seen it, like, before, you know. What is this? Like flowers? Huh. This rainbow is silly. Two wolf moon. Can't even tell that's what it is though. Like the candle's all warped. Everything's warped. Anyway, this is one of the reasons I'm like, hey guild, let's pick together. The slashes are fine, I guess. Well, somebody said that they wanted the stars. That's the only feedback I really got. And somebody said green. I haven't gotten anything else as far as feedback. I'm looking in the chat. Still nothing. But let's see. Got a bow and arrow, a book, a gesture hat, a tree. Oh, this one's not a dead tree. Huh. And we're back to the snake. I mean, I'm willing to pick the goofiest thing there is, or the coolest thing. Just trying to make sure that it's not something that's warped on the female characters. You know how like it gets distorted. So we'll see. I've got 1 gold coming. I've got 6 on this character, and I've got some other gold, you know, but it's a lot of it is sitting on dead characters actually that are no longer even on this server because they've been swapped to Dream Scythe. So we're gonna have to get 10 gold to be able to do this. So that'll get me 7 on this character, but part of me wants at least 11 because I haven't even bought my spells for this level yet, and I know I'm going to need them because I'm running a 0 talent shaman build. No talents, so I need the spells. But dumping all my gold into a guild tabard is going to be really hard to justify just because a couple people said that they wanted a guild tabard. So it'd be really cool if we could somehow find a way to farm it or something like that so that we can earn this tabard for our guild. Or if it's like there's like 9 other people or 8 other people that are like, hey, I'd donate a gold. That would be cool because then I wouldn't empty my coffers and I wouldn't be farming for like a whole day trying to do this. Let's see. I think to do that, to really farm, I'm going to need to make a leather worker. It's actually like a really big secret that it's a huge money maker. Leatherworking is huge for money making in hardcore because people die and then they need more gear and stuff like that. And leatherworking is one of the easiest ways to craft and make mass gear especially if you choose to level simply on like no quests, right? And you just level simply on killing beasts. So my orc female hunter died. I think I'm going to be making a male shaman, no, not shaman, a male troll, and they have like more beast damage and they have haste and stuff like that. More damage to beasts. Orcs have higher beast damage, like pet damage, I should say. But it might be fun to swap it away from orc because the orc died and try like a troll. One of my first hunter ever back in actual vanilla was a troll hunter. It was fun. I'm going to be doing something different with it though. I'm definitely going to be running survival. So we'll see if that's a good decision. Oh, I just got these shoulders, but that reminds me, I have shoulders in my bank that I crafted myself on my hunter that is now dead. So maybe I should grab those. Oh, wait, where's the Elder Rise? I probably get my training on Spirit Rise, actually. Is there a guard nearby? No. I always forget that I have Ghost Wolf. Not always, but you know. Especially because on my druid I'm doing a 0 shapeshift. A 0 shapeshift druid. No shapeshift at all. So I don't have any sprints or anything. Oh, it's so awkward talking to an empty room. I'm just in an empty room in my house and talking. It feels weird. I'm not used to it yet. Pretty new at streaming. Yep, I have one of these. Okay. Okay, so this is 3 stamina and 6 intellect. I mean, less armor, but it's way better as far as the int. 2 less stamina. This gives me spirit. It's hard. I don't know which one I should wear, to be honest. Okie dokie. Well, we tried doing some sort of guild tabard stuff tonight, and it didn't quite work out because we needed 10 gold, apparently. Did not have enough money. So maybe there are people in the guild that are really excited about getting a guild tabard and they want to like donate or something like that. So I might ask. I don't really like asking people for stuff, so I feel like I need to like try to go earn it and like grind it out just for other people for the guild, but I mean that feels kind of self-sacrificial. If people are willing, you know, to invest in the guild by helping out with a guild tabard, that'd be cool, but you know. We'll see what people are willing to do. Water breathing. Shaman just learn water breathing? You need shiny fish scales to do it? Oh, cool. I didn't know that. For some reason, I thought it was like a... Yeah, I don't know. Summons a poison cleansing totem with 5 health at the feet of the caster that attempts to remove 1 poison effect from party members within 20 yards every 5 seconds. Well, that just sounds super helpful. It's a water totem. Oh, I don't even have the water thing yet. And cure disease. Okay, I have cure poison. Now I have cure disease, and I have purge magical effect. Okay, let's get cure disease on here. That's nice. Oh, and I need to turn something in. So sad when you see people just die to things like King Bangladesh and STV, level 39, and you're like, dang, what went wrong? Obviously, they got the last hit, but maybe they got like way too many tigers on them or something like that, or panthers or whatever's nearby. It's kind of good seeing the hardcore death chat open though, because then it gives you a idea for what you might need to avoid or be more careful about if you remember some of this stuff, you know. Okay. Well, I feel like this is the end of the stream for the night. We watched a few news videos. Just decided to do like the Asmongold route this time just for fun. And we're still rocking on 0 talents on this shaman. I'm still a little scared about it. I had a dream last night that I died on this character, and I really thought that it actually happened. So I'm really worried, and now I'm thinking maybe we should just drop all these talent points into something so we don't just lose this character for a meme reason, you know, and stuff like that. But as far as memes go, maybe we'll do a meme build, a build that is not something that is, you know, common. Uh, Maybe go down the resto tree and get something like the totem focusing, like so we can focus on our totems, or some other utility things that are in here, like the hit chance. But I'm really tempted to just go down the elemental tree, but not doing lightning, doing other things that are very utility based or instacast based, and maybe hybrid it into enhancement later or something like that. I've got some plans. I've got some pretty unique meme builds. Meme builds. So that's that. Okay. Let us end this stream, log for the night. We might get a second wind and stream a bit later. We'll see how it goes. Wife's a little sick, so I want to go see how she's doing and maybe take care of her a little bit, you know? And as much as I'd like to stay, sometimes we just got to call things. We tried looking at Tabard a little bit, and we definitely are going to need more gold for that. Had no idea. For some reason, I missed the memo on how expensive that could get. So let's realign our OBS so that it's ready to go for next time. And hopefully you had a blessed night. Hopefully you enjoy what you saw. Hopefully you've watched up to this point. Thank you if you have. God bless you, and Jesus loves you. May he richly bless you.